2004, my dad retired, and we incorporated the farm, and so I'll try to give you a little background. One of the sayings in North Carolina is goodness grows in North Carolina. We're fortunate in North Carolina we can grow about anything that can be grown across the United States except maybe some citrus. And we have some real good farmers that do a good job at it. Stanley County, you can see, is located in the little red county there. We're 40 miles east of Charlotte, about 2 hours from the southwest of Raleigh. And we're right in the Piedmont part of North Carolina. I'm about an hour south of Mr. Ray Shires here. But anyway, our soils is a whole lot different than y'all have out here. I'd give anything to have nothing but a good subsoil like y'all got here, because our subsoil is rocky, hard pan. And our topsoils are probably 4 to 6 inches. And so y'all got a lot to be thankful for here in Ohio to have as much topsoil as you do. Well, we've come a long way from 4-row set of planters or a John Deere grassland drill. I use a 12-row John Deere planter to plant my cotton. Cotton being my biggest crop. We do plant our beans in 15-inch rows, and also we've switched our corn crop over to 15-inch rows to take advantage of the middles, the moisture in that middle. We have a real problem with Pomeranian resistant to Roundup and some mare's tail, and we found using heavy cover crops and getting a quick canopy, we can somewhat control it. Just some kind of projections of what we're going to have on our farm this year. I got 500 acres of wheat and 400 acres of corn and about 600 acres of beans. This is going to be double crop behind the wheat, and about 500 acres of cotton. And this year we've tried 100 acres of growing our own cover crop seeds consisting of rye, triticale, and crimson clover. And we're trying a little bit of hairy vetch and Australian winter peas. Like I say, we grow wheat, and there's some of our 15-inch corn. And later on, this some more of our corn, a little later stage there. And the soybeans, we've done real well planting 15-inch beans. And I don't know, there's probably not many of you ever been around cotton, but that's a field of cotton there that's within about a week of starting to bloom. And crimson clover, that's one of the prettiest crops out there when it blooms. You have people come by and they'll stop and you'll see have their kids all out in there taking pictures. Matter of fact, we had a girl got married out in a crimson clover field here a couple years ago. But we go in and desiccate the crimson clover about a week before it's ready to harvest with a combine, so that we can get it all to be ready at the same time. And it's a little delicate crop to harvest, but I think we'll do pretty well with it. And like I say, we're growing some rye for our own use too. There in Stanley County and the counties around it, we have a lot of poultry, and we're using a whole lot of poultry litter on our farm. Ray earlier this morning said a lot of farmers didn't know what they had in their litter, but I pull faster on him. I do. I know what's in my litter here. Anyway, I had a sample ran last week. It was on my iPhone, and in every ton of the poultry litter we use right now is 33.9 pounds of nitrogen, 61.9 pounds of phosphorus, and 58 0.8 pounds of potash. And we're putting 4 tons of that to the acre. And we're also mixing the gypsum product. I noticed there's some handouts back here somebody had left, but we're using gypsum in our mix for 2 reasons. To loosen the soil, and it's taking some of the odor out of the chicken litter, and I don't have to listen to the chin music from my neighbors, or not as much. But anyway, it has really helped as far as taking some of that litter or smell out. Yes, sir.
How are you mixing that gypsum in?
Well, I've contracted with a family of Laotians that has 28 chicken houses, and I have to haul it in, and when I haul it in, I dump it on a cement pad, and it's going back in my dry stack. We're putting, mixing it with an elevator. We've tried mixing it with some, a night little Augie mix wagon. It's too slow. I've not found nothing big enough that you can mix it and make any time with it. So we're dumping 2 dumps of chicken litter on and letting it heap up in a pile, followed with 1 dump of gypsum, and as it runs down the pile, it's mixing fairly well. So you handle it again and put it on the truck, and it comes off the back of the truck. It looks like ashes out there, really. That white blended with that chicken litter, it's really doing a good job of getting on the land looking like it's mixed pretty well. Like I say, we're fortunate enough we don't have to clean the houses out. We clean out all the dry stack. And the family of Laotians that I'm working with, they do their own cleaning out. And I'll have to say, they do a good job keeping poultry houses dry and do a good job. And like I say, we're mixing it and then spreading it on the fields. We started 2 weeks ago when the weather broke, putting the chicken litter out. And that's all the fertilizer we're planning to use this year, other than maybe any Furr pop-up fertilizer. We're using like 5 gallons of 6-18-6 low salt material. We put that in Furr, and then probably put 20 gallons of 30% of nitrogen 2x2 beside the road. Our cover crop seeds, we could never seem to come up with exactly what we wanted in a mix. So I took a mixer, just like Jay and Dave does here, and we're mixing our own cocktail. And then we're spreading it with a John Deere sprayer that has a tobacco topper motor run kit on it, and we're running a pendulum spreader with a hydraulic motor, and we found that we can do a better job with that than we can a spin spreader, because it seemed like with a spin spreader it was throwing all the rye, the heavy stuff to one side, and the lighter grains was settling in the middle. And good question.
Are you just using one of those pendulum speeders, seeders in front of that spread? And how wide will that spread?
We're taking 60 feet. That's what my spray boom is, and that's what my spray pattern has been through the year going through the cotton. And I try to run pretty much in the same tracks and not have...
The heavier seeds like cereal rye and crimson clover and so forth?
We've not had a bit of problem since we switched to the pendulum spreader. It's throwing everything pretty much at the same.
Do you run that high drive over at 540 or 640?
It's probably more like 600. We kept playing with gear ratios till we finally got it a little faster than you would run it at 540. But that's getting us a good 60 feet pattern and getting the small seeds spread that far too. You can see it. Right there is the outlet that goes in for like a tobacco topper. North Carolina's known for its tobacco. I said known because it's about soon to be a thing to pass, but a lot of these John Deere high boys are still out there. We found this machine here is we get through the field with less crop damage, and our rolling hills and small fields, 60-foot boom is big enough for us. And with two of them, I run spray booms on till it goes to the foliating time, and then we drop the boom off and put this spreader on. One of the neighbors there at home's got a Lily spin spread where he's using to spread his, and he mixes his cocktail right here. He just put him a piece of auger flat and run him a piece of angle across the top and bolt him a block to it. And it does a fine job mixing, as you see there. But you can see on the outside edge, some of this heavier stuff is floating out. Somebody asked me, well, if you do that with your pendulum spreader? No, we don't see that because we're not stirring that seed and shaking it at the same time. But this is a good way to do it if you're small scale. What you see is there, it stays pretty much suspended, but that was right there was just right after he was set still. It seemed like shaking it, you'll get a little bit of it. First year, me and a neighbor worked together, John Pickler. We had this on his machine, and you see it's got the spin spreads on it, but we were awful streaky, like I talked about earlier. This is a good way to do it because you're covering doing two jobs at one pass. Just another shot there of it mounted. We had to fabricate a frame for it on this 4720 sprayer. And then we ran the sprayer itself with just little Honda engine with gear reduction on it. There again, we kept playing with gear reductions when we got it for it. It was running about 540 to 600 RPMs too. Nothing wrong with this if you're going to use big seeded materials. Right there is what we were trying to do. We go in when cotton has dropped a certain percentage of its leaves. We go in and go ahead and seed the cover crop, and then we spray chemicals on the plant to defoliate it. And as the seeds drop down to the ground, and then 2 or 3 days later, those leaves drop off, they cover it and helps germinate those seeds. Just another shot there. We found out that this works pretty good unless it's real dry, and most of the time, if it's real dry like it was last fall, we'll hold off and drill it. Yes, sir.
You have a longer tail on that one cedar where it spreads longer?
Don't think so. About 60 feet is as wide as I've been able to find one that'll do that. The only other way would be some of them make double cedars. Coon, I think, makes one with a double spinner that's supposed to go 90 feet. But I don't know how it would be as far as swinging the light stuff. But with it having two separated on each side, it would probably do a better job than like one did that we were using on this particular machine. And then another way we put it in, we use a John Deere no-till drill. I like the John Deere drill because of what you've seen in the program before. This machine don't tear up the land near as bad, and that's what we're trying to stay away from, is the less tillage the better. This was bottom land there that the beans came off one day, and we were entering, putting in a cover crop there the next day. Sometimes we'll just take my spreader truck, put the seeds in it, and we'll go over the field and spread it. And this is another way I'll get to there's the other way. We either put it out with a truck, or we'll put this little herd spreader on it and do it all in one job. That spreader spreads 32 feet, that Phillips tool covers 30 feet, so that's a good way to do it when the land's is dry. And cotton doesn't leave no residue at all. It's like I told somebody here this morning, cotton is like having a row of oak seedlings out there. After you pick the cotton off of it, that cotton plant is like a wood plant. Matter of fact, some parts of south in Brazil, they have cotton that can get as big as 4 to 5 inches across the base of it, and they pick it year round. So it's actually in the wood family. And we bush hog the stalk sometime like we did here in this particular field, and then we'll go in and spread it and use this Phillips tool, and it'll just barely cover the seeds about an inch, less than an inch, half inch to 3/4 maybe. And we've gotten on pretty good doing that. But if we catch the weather just right, we've had real good results of just going in and spreading it over the top of the cotton as with the foliate. Some of the ways that we utilize some of the other equipment that we got as far as help in burning down is I took a tractor with the saddle tanks and had a 30-foot color packer that we used to burn down with. The reason I had that wide color packer is in the spring of the year, we run that over cotton stalks to break them off level with the ground, because them things is hard on a set of tires. I made a mistake of putting a brand new tractor out in the field, and the tires were soft, and I ate the tires that first year. So we decided later we would try to do something different. The color packer, I had it there when we done all that recreational tillage, and so we made use of it. And what we did, as you can see, I added a spray bar on the back of the roller, and the height is 20 inches, our distance is 20 inches, and like I say, the saddle tanks was on a tractor that we wasn't using for nothing else. We're putting down the Moxon and 2,4-D and dicamba. We're putting it out in plenty of time so that won't be no residue left for the cotton when we go in to plant it. But we're using 25 gallons of water at 45 pounds of pressure. And when it's laid down, it just about, you can see it just about doing that. It's blowing it in there so hard, and it wets the rye and cover crop real good. The first year that I sow a field that hasn't had a cover crop, I'll probably double the rate of rye, because the thicker the mass that I can get on that soil, the better. And you see there's a field that was burnt down, and you can see right there, this is where the whole row of cotton was the year before, and that's just like sticks standing up in the ground. And that's one of the reasons that we roll it, is try to break those stalks off, make the life of the tires a little bit longer.
Are you having to walk any of those pigweed fields? Pigweed?
We're fortunate that we're staying on top of it enough that, yeah, if we have a field that I know that we've got a problem, yeah, we're walking it. The biggest problem we've seen where the gin trucks come in and they've been on somebody else's farm, and they come in and pick our modules up, they drop in seeds. That's basically about all, either there or on power lines. A lot of times we're finding some under power lines. Years ago when I grew soybeans for Pioneer, balloon vine was a problem. And we always would walk the power lines, because that's where we would find obnoxious weeds like that.
Cotton seed, the dairies up there. Bring it from the south, cotton seed.
Oh, I know, I feel for you fellas. The problem with a lot of farmers there at home, they're not energetic enough to get out there and walk the field. And, well, just to be honest with you, somebody think I'm crazy at the way that I'm doing things, but it's going to pay off. Every year somebody's coming to me and tell me what you're doing. I don't know your secrets. But one of the biggest hurdles we had to jump was getting that planter set up like I thought it ought to be, to try to get the crop in the ground and get it in at the right depth. So I bought a new planter, and I bought a planter with frame mounted holders instead of unit mounted, and we put right here you can see, we added longer parallel arms with a frame mounted holder, and then a unit mounted road cleaner. And John Deere don't offer us, you can buy a new planter with frame mounted holder, but you can't buy a new planter with longer parallel arms. So we had to tear a new planter from apart and change our arms out to be able to do this. That's actually a Yetta road cleaner. I like the spike cleaners better because they're a little more aggressive than that thick, heavy rye. As you'll see a little later on, I'll show you how it works. A little 6-row planter I had that I've used a while. We bought the setback one and put it on. We're still using our same short parallel arms. Cost-wise, that's probably just a little bit cheaper. But the little 6-row planter I use to plant little fields, and still does the same thing. We put unit mounted road cleaners on it, and those things work pretty good. Just another picture there of how the unit mounted road cleaners are. Alright, there's what I'm talking about, how to clean. One thing we do whenever we are rolling and spraying is we try to move in the same direction in which the planter is going to be running. It don't matter whether you plant or if you roll to the left and you plant to the right, it don't make no difference. It's still, as long as you're going in the same direction. But you see how that push that heavy cover out of the way? That's what I was looking for. It took us a couple of weeks. We were able to get the crops planted just because I couldn't get that like I wanted, but we've not had no issues with that. It will also cut, see, we got it where we cut the same direction, the opposite direction, and it does a pretty good job that way. All right, I got a Kinsey planter. Like I said, we plant corn and we plant soybeans with. I planted this field just to make this picture. I showed you how it did not cut near as good as the John Deere will. There should be a row right there, but you can't see it. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. With this planter system, I have to wait about a week longer, but most of the time, if we wait a week longer, that works out. As you see, we're putting some fertilizers in Furr, the side of the road, and you see it, but there's another, we're putting some in Furr. That's the road cleaner system that I have on my Kinsey. It's Martin road cleaners with the Kinsey frame. I didn't like the sway back teeth that came on the Kinsey planter, so we switched it over to the Martin more aggressive ones. All right, there's what it's talking about. That's our in-furrow seed tube, fertilized tube. All right, we've been no-tilling on our farm since 1968. This was me in 1980. Out there, right there at the tractor. Open cab tractor. And when I got home that night, I was as yellow as the John Deere paint was on the cleaner. All right, real quick, this field is a neighbor's farm. He turbo-tilled this or vertical tillage in the fall and didn't sow no cover crop. This field had a cover crop. You can see the difference even at, when that cotton's a week old or 2 weeks old. Same field, a few weeks later, outside temperature 105, no cover crop, temperature was 105, with a cover crop 85 degrees. Now that tells me a whole lot right there. There's a picture of cotton when it's blooming. It has a, see that biomass there? That's the reason I want to double it the first year, is so I can keep that all summer long. This particular field, I got some more pictures of it. This particular farm, about 1,500 pounds of cotton. You know, you don't know what, never seen a bloom unless you got cotton. That bloom bloomed out this morning. That bloomed out yesterday. They'll turn red like that when they pollinate. And there's pictures of the biomass later on in the year. This is this farm right here. Average like it averaged 1,500 pounds a day, and it was 200 pounds better than anybody else's in the community that could sell it.
How many bills in?
I had to stop and wait on the boys to bring me a bowl baby one day. I jumped out, and I made them bowls was real big, and I pulled the cord out of the pocket, put on there, and I named that my money bowl. I probably got the 2 oldest pickers in the county that they paid for, and they did a good job. And that's what I said miles a while ago. That we put the cotton in miles beside the road. New John Deere Brown Bell picker, $750,000. I'm not farming enough to pay one. We get done every year. I try to pull soil samples, but I've not found one that I like yet. I want one to show me what's in my soil. I want no more than the pH, the NPK. I want what's out there. So this year we're going to try to do some hanging tests and some of the others. We've come a long way from here to here now, but we still got a lot to do. You see that dirt there, don't you? I like Ray's hat. Soil must be covered. So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer. I'll be here